Hari Om, sharing the document for Bhagavatam. So this is the continuation of Ajamila Charitra, and we just saw how upon request from Parikshit, Sukadeva Acharya is finally revealing the story of Ajamil for the sake of Parikshit's concern regarding the humanity and the reality of all this narakas and the possibility of all the mistakes and errors in the name of which are called papas, and what is the respite, what is the way out? Is this all everyone's lot? And is it inherently, in the srishti that everyone has to undergo these narakas, or what about the devotees? Like that, he's asking some questions, and here are the answers in the form of a story. So, what can be more interesting than the answer in the form of an akhyayika story? So, we'll continue with where we left. And we left last week at sloka number 20. So, this is the sixth skandha, sashtha skandha, and in the sashtha skandha, we are in the very first chapter. This first chapter is called the story of Ajamila, beginning Ajamila Upakhyana Prarambha. We have completed 20 shlokas. Let us start from the 21st one. Thank you. Kanyakubje Dvijah Kashit Dasi Patirajamilah Namna Nashta Sadacharah Dasya Samsarga Doshitah. There was a city by name Kanyakubja. Kanoja is the current name for that city. It is still there. Dujaha, in that there was a Brahmana, and Ajamilaha is his name, and he was known, he was infamous for his company with a Dasi. A Dasi is a woman who is given to some unrestricted conduct when it comes to men, but he was very much associated with her. And because of that, Nashta Sadachara, he had lost all his character because of that. Samsarga Dushitaha, because of the Dushita, because of the dishonor of associating himself with that Dasi, with that woman. Vandya Kshakaita Bhai Katai, Vandya Kshakaita Bhai Choraihi. गर्हितां वृत्तिमास्थितः बिभ्रत् कुटुम्बमशुचिः यातयामास देहिनः. So, for the sake of his living, especially when he has to spend so much money on the dasi, he was given to, bandya. Bandya means he would do some highway robbery by tying up people and stealing all the belongings. Vandya, Bandya, Akshakaitavaihi. He was also given to gambling to make money. But of course, he would also lose a lot of money by that. So he has to go back and again steal sometimes. Chauraihi, or sometimes he may have to deceive people. So this is the ways he was trying to make money and living. Bibrat Kutumba, for the sake of, with the excuse of wanting to protect his family and serve his family, etc. Evam nivasatastasya lalayanasya tatpum tatsutan kalotyagan mahan rajan Nashtashityayushah samaha. Okay. Lalaya nivasas tasya lalayanasya tatsutan. And he was also taking care of all the children of this Dasi. Kalaha Atyagan Mahan. In no time he became old. Rajan Nashta Shishayuhu Shah. He was 88 years old by then. Samaha. So this Ajamila, the word Aja means Ja means to be born. Aja means unborn, being free from birth and death. Who is that who is free from birth and death? Paramatma. Your Atma is Brahma, is Paramatma. But Aja, Amila. You can split the word Ajamila two ways. Aja and Amila. This is one way of splitting. Mila means to meet, to associate. Amila is the opposite, not associating. So not associating with who? Aja, Paramatma. That is Ajamila, totally disassociated with the reality in terms of Ishvara, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Brahma, Swarupa. So another way of splitting the word Ajamila is Aja, lengthening the vowel Aja and Mila. When Aja word becomes Aja, instead of referring to Paramatma, it would refer to Maya. So, associating with Maya, Mila, Aja and Mila. Now it is not Amila, it is Mila. Always associated with the whatever glitters, Maya, whatever shines apparently, whatever the senses are being drawn to, associated with that, that is Ajamila. Let us look at the next sloka, 24th sloka. Tasya pravayasah putraha dashateshantu yovamah balu narayano namna putreyoscha dayito bhrisham. How many children he had? He had 10 kids. Dashaputra. The last one was the dearest and nearest. His name was given as Narayana. He was dear to both Ajamila and his wife, Dasi wife also. Sabadra Hridayastasmin Arbhake Kalabhashini Nirikshamanas Tallila Mude Jataro Brisham. Sabadra Hridayas Tasmin his Hridaya, his heart is united, is bound by this little boy. Kalabhashini, he was prattling, he was lisping all the words, tata toto. He couldn't say ra, he would say la la la. He was enjoying all that. Whatever the little boy would do, he would enjoy. Nirikshamanas tallilam. Always carried away by the boy's leela, of all his little plays. He's putting his hand up, sometimes both hands, sometimes jumping, sometimes walking, everything. He was carried away with all those things. It was never enough for him when the boy is around. Hunjana prati prapiban khadan balaka sneha yantritah bhojayan payayan moodah navedagatam. So, Ajamil, whenever he eats, he would always call the boy, where is my boy? I want to feed him first. Feed him. Whatever he drinks, even if it is water, he has to first give to that boy. and not knowing Balakas Veda Naveda Gatamantakam Antakam Anta means what? End Antakam end point. Not knowing the end point is near, the end of life is near. Sayem Vartamanognyaha Mrityu Kala Upasthite Matim Chakara Tanaye Bale Narayana Khvaye. Agnya, so ignorant he was that Mrityukala Upasthita, death is right in front of him, going to be staring. He's staring at him right there. Matim Chakara Tanaye, mind is all. Why his mind was not available? Why was the mind not available to see the reality? Because mind was not with him. It was given away towards this one boy. स पाशहस्तां स्वीन् दृष्ट्वा पुरुषान् वृषदारुणान् वक्रतुण्डान् ऊर्ध्वरोम्ण आत्मानं नेतुमागतान्. The story is moving forward, faster. So, death is around the corner. In fact, it is right in front of him. In what form? In the form of all those servants of Yamaduta. Yamaduta means Yama's servants. So messengers and assistants and servants of Yamaduta, the whole group, whole Gana, because when Yama sends, he has to send the whole group, experts in dharma, because this fellow, if he argues, he has to be told. Experts in punishing people who are so scary. These Yamadutas looked so scary. They had the Pasha. I'm not describing. This is what he's seeing. They say the person near death experience, they say it is something like this, as he's describing. He's seeing the Yamaduta all with horrifying weapons in their hands and the rope to tie. And then the face of the Yamadutas, Vakratunda. Okay? Vakratunda means the face is all so scary. It is making all sorts of, they say scary faces they're making, who, like that and all that. And then they were also, what I should say, the hairs, like porcupines needles, the hairs were all so raised up, not for Ajamila, but for the Yamadutas. For the messengers of Yama, the hairs are all standing up as though they are so upset with this fellow, just to make him so scared. Dhure क्रीडन का सक्तं पुत्रं नारायणाह्वयं प्लावितेन स्वरेण उच्चैराजुहावाकुलेन्द्रिय. So, this boy was playing a little away, little far away. He could see. He felt so helpless. Ajamil felt so helpless for himself, not for the boy. And he's shouting because he's little away. With a raised voice, he's calling the boy, Narayan, Narayana, 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 Narayana. I'll tell the story of Akhandanji regarding the power of the word Narayana. Maybe if not this time, next time. So he's calling like that. That story is, Akhandanji would say, is a Laukika story. It is a real story which happened. And that story we'll see later. But now here, Ajamila is calling that boy like that. Nishamya priyamanasya bhruvato harikirtanam bharturnama maharaja parshada sahasaha patand. Now this voice, when he raised so loudly calling Narayana, the assistants of Mahavishnu called Parshada, Vishnu Parshada, They could hear him. When they heard him, they become so alert. Who is calling Narayana? Doesn't matter to them who is calling their names. Somebody is calling Narayana. And they dropped everything. See, these Yamadutas are already there. But these Parshadas of Mahavishnu, they appeared in no time. Sahasa apatan means what? As and when the Yamadutas are there, the Narayana sound came, and as though it was, we didn't know who came first. Narayana's Parshadas, Mahavishnu's Parshadas also were there in no time. Vikarshatontarbhridayat dasi pati majamilam yama preshyan vishnuduta varayamasu rojasa. They saw somebody is called Narayana and that fellow is being taken away, is being forcibly tied up and all that by these Yamadutas. They immediately stopped them and pushed them aside with their force. They were more forceful against these Yamadutas and even more than the force the Dutas were applying towards Ajamila to take him away and pushed them aside. ऊचुर्निषेदितास्तांस्ते वैवस्वत पुरःसरः के यूयं प्रतिषेधारः धर्मराजस्य शासनम्. And experiencing this, the Yama Parshadas are so puzzled, so perplexed. Who are these fellows? Where did they come from? Don't have any idea where we are coming from? We are trying to fulfill not for our own selfishness. We are come here for fulfilling the wishes of Yamaraja, Dharmaraja. Whatever he has enjoined, that is based on dharma, and we have come to fulfill that. Who are you all to stop us? Kasyava, who, who do you belong to? Yama Parshadas, Yamadutas are asking, Kasyava kuta ayataha kasmadasya nishedhata kim deva upadeva va yuyam kim siddha satamaha. Where are you coming from? Who do you belong to? And what is the reason why you are stopping us? You all look like devatas, or maybe you are upadevatas, assistants of devatas, or maybe you are some celestial beings. You look so wonderful, but what is your job here? Sarve Padma Palashakshaha Pitakaushaya Vasasaha Kiritinah Kundalinah Lasat Pushkaramalinah. Every one of those assistants of Mahavishnu, they were all having very pretty eyes, as though it is made of lotus. Little bit reddish because of the concerns they had for Ajamila. And they were wearing clothing which was all beautiful saffron yellow, yellow with a tinge of saffron, shining vastra. They had kiriti. Kirita means what? They had the crown on their head. Kundalina, they had beautiful, captivating earrings. Lasat Pushkara Malna, then garland. Not any ordinary garland. The garlands were made of lotus, you can imagine. सर्वे च नूस्न वयसः सर्वे चारु चतुर्भुजाः धनुर्निषङ्घासि गदा शङ्ख चक्राम्बुजश्रियः शङ्ख चक्राम्बुजश्रियः. And they were all assistants from the loka of Vishnu. They were all very young, of young age. 4 arms, they were all looking like Mahavishnu with 4 arms. Not only just 4 arms, they had a bow, they had a sword, they had the Shankha, the conch, chakra, the disc, just like Bhagavan Vishnu. And then Gada also, mace. Disho vidhi miralokaha kurvanta svena rochisha kimartam dharma palasya kinkara no nishedhatha. Disha and all the directions were shining with the presence of these Vishnu's assistants. They were emitting such radiance, such brilliance, and that was even more than the regular, sun or moonlight in that place. Kimartam dharma palasya kinkarano nisheditaha. Hey, we are dharma palakas. Who's saying? Not the Vishnu's assistants are not saying they are dharma palakas. These Yama Kinkaras are saying we are dharma palakas. We are here to protect the dharma. When we are, after all, following our dharma without any kind of a bias, no subjectivity. Whatever we do may look, it's a thankless job, okay? But we have to do it and we are doing it. Who are you to stop us? Why do you why do you why do you make our job even more difficult? As such, following dharma is difficult. Implementing dharma is even more difficult. And then you are coming from nowhere and even stopping us. Don't make our life more difficult. So Shuka Uvacha, they had some points, right? Shuka is saying, Ityukte Yamadutaihi to Parikshit, Tairva Sudevokta Karinah, Tan Pratyuchuhu Prahasyedam Megha Nirhradaya Giraha. After they have stopped their, after they have stopped their argument, their point of views, patiently waiting, the Vishnu Parshadas, they were looking at them with a smiling face, Prahasya idam, and their voice was reverberating like that of the clouds, Garjana, and they were starting to speak the following words. Vishnudutta Bhuchuhu Yuyam Vai Dharmarajasya Yadi Nirdeshakarinah Bhrut Dharmasya Nastatvam Yacha Dharmasya Lakshanam. Indeed, certainly, if you are all given to following the instructions of Dharmaraja, if you are so confident about your job, first talk to me about the tattva of dharma. Say us what dharma means to you. What are the features of dharma? Talk to us about the features of dharma. Lakshanam kim? Tattvam kim? Kadam svedriyate dandah kim vasya yatha sthanamipsitam dandya kim karina sarve ahosvitkati chindranam. How do you implement dharma? Talk to us about that. Do you just blindly come and implement dharma? Eye for an eye? And what is the other one? Tooth for a tooth? Is that the way you want to implement dharma? Blindly? Mahatma Gandhi used to say, if you take an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, then there is an ear for an ear. Half of the population, most of the people will be either blind or having no teeth. So is that the way you want to implement dharma? And how do you determine that he is the right candidate for you to implement whatever dharma, whatever you want to do? How do you determine the right candidate? When do you have the same rule for everybody, or do you also change, or do you also customize, tailor-made customization on the rules depending on the person? Talk to us about that. Who is saying this? Vishnu Dutas are saying. Then Yamadutas are responding. Veda pranihito dharma hyadharmastad viparyaya. They are not They are not shaken by this Vishnu Duta's argument. They are very clear about what they are doing. Vedo Narayana Sakshat Swayam Bhuriti Sushruma. Oh, you are asking us some fundamental questions. Okay, we came to finish our job, but then now let us spend some time with you now. Veda pranihito dharma hai. Whatever has been told by Veda to do's and not to do's in the Veda is according to dharma. That is dharma. And then what is adharma is very simple. The viparyaya hai. Opposite of whatever Veda's injunctions. Opposite of Vedic statements, they are the adharma. So, such a simple definition. And don't take Veda any lightly. Veda hai is Narayana hai. Who is saying this? Not the Vishnu Parshadas. Yamadutas. You have to look at this page. You can see Yamaduta Uchuhu means Yamadutas are still talking. And what they're saying, they're asking the Vishnu assistants to not take Vedas lightly because Veda is Narayana. Look, Veda hai, Narayana hai, Sakshat. There is no doubt about that. Veda is Sakshat Narayana only. Bhagavan only is Veda. Swayambhuriti Sushruma. And by saying Veda is Narayana, what are you saying? They are saying that because Veda is Narayana, it is living. Veda is breathing in and out. It is not a dead book of, you know, there is the Egyptian, they also had ancient religion, but it is not there anymore. As you might know, it has all been wiped away by aggressive faiths. There is no more Egyptian who is an ancient, following ancient religion. They're all more into Arabic religion. But the Western people, they have some ideas about the book, what the ancient people followed there. And they are calling it the Book of the Dead. Not book of the death, it is Book of the Dead. Okay? Because nobody is following, but the Western people are doing some research on that. Or they have some small meetings discussing about that. But here, our Veda is always alive. Even now, Vedic people are there. The whole life is yoga because you're given to what is in the Veda, which is so adaptive, so available. And also, Veda is Swayambhu, as this shloka from the Yama's messengers are saying. Swayambhu means Veda has no beginning, no end. Don't think Vedas are subject to, kind of alteration, all that. So, for all these reasons, Veda is dharma, is eternal and dharma. So, this is what is that. This is what is how the Yamadutas are arguing against the Vishnu Dutas. Yama's assistants are Yamaraja, the deity of death. His assistants are arguing against the deity of dharma, actually. Unfortunately, somebody has to do the thankless job. And Yamaduta has been given that job. Yamaduta went to Bhagavan Shiva and told Shankar Bhagavan, you have given me this thankless job. Everybody is blaming me. They think I'm bad. I feel bad about that. Do something about it. Then Shankar Bhagavan said, don't worry, Yamaraja. Days will come. Everything will change. Modern days will come. In Kali Yuga, people would think they have found out all the answers about death. And when they think so, when someone dies, they will not even think of you. They would say this person had some heart issues, so he died. They would say this person died out of heart attack. And sometimes they say heart failure. Both are very different. If you ask a doctor, cardiac arrest is different from cardiac failure, cardiac attack, and all that. Okay? So they'll find different terms for all those different ways, and then they say people die out of this and whatnot, but they will never say they died because of you, Yamaraja. Don't worry. That is a modern, way of understanding death. So you don't have to worry. So that's what is happening now. So I want to stop here with this story. So remind me next week when we come back. I want to continue. Of course, I'll remember that I have to continue from the sloka number 41. But what I would like you to remind me is the story of Akhandanandi Maharaj about the power of the word Narayana, in addition to this Ajamila Charitra. Okay, so with this, I'd like to stop here and let you all listen to the final concluding prayers. In India, I'll be in India when you're listening to this. So we will try to attend this session because my flight will be landing that very morning when I had to give this session. I'll try to join in the beginning or in the end in some time. But I'll always, can always reconnect with you the following week. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.